Hello, I wish I was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had
Hello and welcome to the Baller BBL SuperCoach podcast. I'm your host and coach of the Terrace crew, Matt Ricks. We are back 1 week away, less than 1 week away from the start of the Big Bash SuperCoach season. And tonight I am very, very pleased to be joined once again by coach of Myth on the Myth. How are you, mate? Back for preseason series 5, mate. How you feeling now? Just 5 days out from the start of the Big Bash.
Yeah, it kind of doesn't feel so close, does it?
No, it doesn't at all.
It's been a weird preseason.
We're through the test match now, mate. So I feel, though, like there's still more anticipation for Aussies to go up 3-0 than for Perth v Sydney on Sunday night.
Yeah, fair enough. Watching these English struggle and watching the English media fall out after each game is just getting more entertaining by the day, to be honest. So I don't blame people just hanging out for that over the Big Bash, but we're here to talk about Big Bash.
It's been good. English are reading themselves. They don't know whether to keep Bazball, leave Bazball. All I know, it's 2-0. F off. Also joining us tonight for his seasonal debut, it is his BBL debut. You all know him from the NRL Supercoach Baller Pod, the most popular contributor in baller history. It's Coach of Tubes' pods. Tubes, welcome to the BBL. Welcome to the BBL Baller Podcast.
I'm pretty excited to be here, although I'm starting to get a bit nervous. Look, you guys just said it just before we started, like, oh, I can't believe it's Sunday, and I'm like, what? No, it's not. Like, I have no idea the Big Bash is starting this Sunday, but away we go. I'm here so you can solve all my problems before we start next week.
Todd Greenberg in the marketing department. Like, it's not on. We need a bit more Big Bash in our, just in our periphery.
The thing though with the Big Bash is every year that I think about it, I think about being on holidays, like already on my Christmas break. How good's the nighttime come when the Big Bash starts? And I'm still a couple of weeks away from holidays. I know some people are lucky enough to potentially be jotting off at the end of this week.
Says the man who's played 3 games of golf in the last week.
2 on the weekend. Oh.
Anyway, how you feeling? You've come in pretty cold tonight, and you're keen to hear a bit about what me and Myth have been speaking. I know you have. Let's be upfront. You've not listened to any of the podcasts yet, have you?
I've listened to 2 halves. I've listened to 2 halves. I've heard the last one was pretty good, so I've got to catch up on that one. Okay. But that's about it. Yeah.
Okay. So, and your plan tonight is to have a bit of a listen, ask some questions, and try to build a team throughout the podcast for a end of episode team reveal.
Yes, that's pretty much it. I got my team up. I did an autofill, and then I'm looking to replace. The one thing I do know is I've got W Salesman in as an auto emergency. Am I pronouncing that correctly? That was from one of the episodes?
W Salesman.
Salesman, yeah. So he's sitting there as my dual bat bowler at 39.5K. That's about it so far.
All right. Yeah, no, me and Myth have spoken about him at length so far this pod. We've got to check Tubes. We've got the 3K prize league, 2K to the winner, 500 to each, 2 to each of second and third. Are you in the league yet?
Not yet. I just joined on Baller. It was actually really easy just before we started. But for all of the people that joined the NRL one, logging in, it was very easy again. And yeah, I've now logged in and I've hit join the Baller BBL 3K league, and it's linking me up as we speak.
Tell them where to go, Tubes. Where do they need to head?
So ballr.live, either sign up with your NRL account that you created during the year, or if you are just jumping on board, create a new account. It's pretty easy once you're in there. You can obviously look at all the player profiles, statistics, all of that. But if you then just go to the left-hand side, it says Baller Prize Leagues. The NRL one's all been awarded, and the one that says Baller 3K BBL League and the big yellow join button, hit that, and it literally just takes you straight across to SuperCoach, and it joins you up. I was about to read out the lead code that popped up when I hit it, but I'll leave that.
Can't do it. You need to go through ballr.live. BALL.live. It couldn't be easier. Please head along. Heaps of prizes, and the main thing is free to enter. Nothing costs nothing. Absolutely.
Matt,
nothing.
I'm in.
Beautiful.
So this is a great pod.
Hang on.
Get me set up.
Hang on, I forgot. It caused a bit of ruffle during the week. Someone who did listen to the pod was Jono, who's going to be on a pod actually next week, I think. He's like, "Oh, Mitt's allowed to win the prize. What the hell's happened here? How are you feeling about that, Chibs? I feel like maybe we do have to open it up to all contributors who come on the pod for the prize.
I don't know why. I don't know why it wasn't already. I mean, like, I'll give Jono 3K if he wins the baller myself. Like, it's not happening.
There should be a bonus, 30K bonus or something for Jono.
If anything, opening it up to Myth, you've actually given the person that's the best chance of actually winning something into the prize pool. Like, whereas, so, but
I don't know about that.
Well, you're a top whatever something 50, 100 finisher.
You're a top whatever.
You're a top place finisher, which is more than we can say.
I'm stealing that from now on. Whenever I'm asked, I'm just going to say top whatever.
Look, I'm just a top whatever.
Is the rank history.
I think I looked up my history, and I was at my highest I'd been in BBL was 8,000. But in saying
hang on. Is it true that you've never finished a BBL season?
Yeah, never. Never made it through. I told you it's always been a holiday thing. Like, and then when I go back from the summer holidays, I drop out, but not this year.
So Tubes is the everyman, every person that we just want to get on. He's exactly who we need to help build the first team of the season. But he is actually a very good Supercoach player. He just doesn't see it through. So that's where me and Myth are here to help him, make sure he can get through his first full season of BBL. And hopefully we're going to hear some great questions along the way. Make sure you follow us on socials at ballr.live on X, Facebook, Instagram, and at Baller Sports on YouTube and TikTok. Plenty of great content coming out, especially this week. First game Sunday night. We cannot wait. And tonight we're going to go through the highest owned players in BBL SuperCoach. As of tonight, we are recording Monday night. We're going to do another pod later in the week, which is going to be exciting. But we're going to do it so that Tubes can help him build himself a team. We're going to talk about wicketkeepers, bat bowl, duels, bat only, bowl only, all to do with the highest owned players. And we're going to share it all with ballr.live. So, Myth, why don't we get that up to kick us off? And the first player, he's the highest owned player in the game. We spoke about him last week on the pod. Someone who was the MVP. I called him the MVP. I think he was the official MVP last year. But that is Mitch Owen. He is 53.9% owned to start the season, 6 days out. Is there any doubt for you whether to start with Mitchy Boy Owen, or could you see yourself, if we heard he wasn't going to bowl, could you see yourself maybe potentially not starting with him?
I don't think so. I might just fade the captaincy. You can see there he's already at 22% of the captaincy at the moment. And with higher vice captain, 12% vice captain will probably shift as well. So he's just so explosive. And that first game at Ninja Stadium, I think at least one at Ninja Stadium. I think he's just too risky to go without. I think you can end your season in round one. You probably can't win it in round one. So he's the kind of guy that can do that damage.
He had such a good bat average last year, and he didn't bowl that much, but he had a great fielding average. Do you think we could see an increased bowling role for Mitch this season?
I'd anticipate that we do see him bowl a few more overs. Whether or not that's in round one, though, I'm not so sure. I think that hamstring's it can't be a good thing for his bowling prospects, and he might even be their 7th bowling choice, depending on the lineup they go with. Hopefully he's number 6. He's just that extra guy, along with Chowdhury, but potentially they run an extra bowler with the where they're all killing it in the tests and potentially Webster not being available. So, yeah, he's just too scary to go without, I think.
Yeah, I'm not going to. I was going to flick between the two screens, but you can see there on the top right, we can filter between the seasons, so 25-26, which will stay on now just to see the ownership. But you can go and have a look at the 24-25 season to see all the averages. Mitch Owen actually had an incredible batting bonus average last year, which is not surprising. He struck at 163. So he's one of the most devastating players in the game. He was a relative unknown this time last season. He was obviously a very cheap price coming into the game, but I don't think many of us will forget that massive ton he scored off about, I'm going to say, 40 rocks in the grand final last year of the BBL. Tubes, have you heard of Mitch Owen?
Yeah. No, I have. He's a good batsman. I didn't know he was that he was a prolific bowler. Did he get most of his points last year batting?
Yeah, or nearly all of them. He barely bowled. Yeah.
So what's he bat? He bats 4?
No, opens.
Opens. Okay, there you go. Well, he's only 192k, so I've slotted him in.
That's a
so
lot
far as a batsman.
That's a lot.
No, not for a 73 average with some bowling upside.
Correct. It's not. If he certainly 73 average would certainly do again, and he's going to be a very popular captain, like you mentioned. Myth, the second one here, Josh Philippe. So wicketkeeper. We spoke a lot about this wicketkeeper strategy last week. I've really warmed up to it. He smashed nearly 200 in grade cricket last week, 46% owned. So, Myth, when you're looking at the ownerships this time of year, are you treating that as basically a sort of 80, 90% ownership for engaged players?
Yeah, I think that 45% is much higher among serious players, as is the 54% for Mitch Owen. So I would anticipate that if you're going against Philippe, or Owen for that matter, you're very much taking them on, and if they go big, you're going to be very much stinging in that very first round.
So Philippe had a tricky year last year. The Sixers had a few washouts. He probably didn't have his best season. He's been a very solid Big Bash player for a good sort of 6 or 7 years now. Tubes, we spoke a bit about last week just around the value of Philippe as we get to the Sixers will have double in one. And Myth, what round do they double the second time around in?
I think
round 6, Matt, I think you'll find.
There you go.
Yeah. Just
but they also
doing some research.
Thank you, gents. But he also has a lot of value with those two buys, which are round 5 and round 8, before a last game week, round 9 double game week. So Myth, just refresh for the listeners and for Tubes the value of that from a wicket keeping perspective, having all those buys and all those doubles.
It just means you're going to get use out of him every single round, especially if you can get a pair of 3 keepers. Like, for example, I think you can go with Philippe, Clark, McDermott, and you almost have a double or a loop, I think, close to every round of the season, except I think round 2 might be the only one that's a problem there. But 1 round out of 9, setting for getting keepers and not wasting trades is a definite viable strategy.
Yep. So, Tubes, Babar Azam, who we'll get to in a little bit later, he's kind of the alternate to Philippe. They're both going to open the batting for the Sixers. But that wicketkeeper duel just gives Philippe the edge, plus the price. It feels a little bit hard to go for Babar ahead of Philippe, or obviously you can definitely go both as well.
I was going to say, why
has
not
Philippe
have
been
both?
slotted in already into your team?
Yeah, he's capped. I got the C on him right now for round 1. Double game player. He's cheap, 109k. That feels he did have a bit of a quieter season last year, than what it feels like he's done in the past. He certainly, I feel like I've watched many games where he's just absolutely exploded, and last year it doesn't look like he had as many of those.
Correct. And we can go and check out on ballr.live. I won't get into it now, but we can check you can see there in the column fielding averages. So you can go back and have a look at the guys' fielding averages. So maybe some of those keepers who didn't score as many fielding points last year, and that could just be down to luck. but you can go and have a look through there and see who might be the keepers who get the fielding points or who might be in for a few more this year based on luck or whatever it might be. So I strongly encourage you to go and use this table. It's been super helpful for me so far in the team build, and Philippi is going to be in my team. Myth, Aaron Hardie, third on this list at nearly 44% owned. I've got to admit, I love Aaron Hardie, and he's been in my team the last couple of years at some point. I think he's going to bat 3, maybe 4, probably 3, I think, for the Scorchers. He's 75k, which is dirt cheap. Is probably enough just to get him in bat only. I just struggle if he's not going to bowl, to get him in just ahead of someone like a Finn Allen, or if I'm going to pick a Perth player in that batting slot.
Yeah, I think it comes down to the lineup game one. If Perth line up and they're running 3 quicks, Agar and Hobson's at number 7, you just take Hardie because it's too good of a chance of bowling. But if Hobson's not on that side and they run the 4 quicks plus Agar, then I think there's an argument to go without Hardie and just expect him to be a bat only who might get an over. But I think he's cheap. He's been a premium player before. I couldn't knock anyone that's starting with him. I think there's just a situation where he's pretty much a must-have and a situation where you can probably fade that ownership, although I think he's going to be the emergency for a lot of people.
Yeah, it really comes down to that lineup. If you think that he's a chance to get 2 to 3 overs, then I'd be scared of the ownership. But yeah, I'm happy to take on the ownership, especially if I'm going to take that Perth slot for someone like a Finn Allen, or if I'm going to take a slot for a bowler like a Shaheen Shah or a Bartlett or someone instead down the bottom. I think Hardie's exceptional. He had a very down year as well last year. That's why his price is so cheap. So if it's a price thing, I think for sure his strike rate is definitely not as good as Allen. And Allen also plays into that the wicketkeeper chat that we were sort of just having, last week and today as well. That Allen's probably going to be someone that you might want pending Joe Clark. So yeah, I'm happy to fade Hardie at this point until we see the lineup, which is great because we're going to get that on match day 1. So you'll be able to
Marsh going to play?
Yeah, Mitch Marsh he's going to open. Yep.
And so will he bowl as well? Is he a chance of still bowling or Cooper Connolly?
So.
Do they take
Connolly might bowl. Myth, what's your read on the Perth bowling?
My reads, I think Hardie and Connolly will either be the 5th and 6th bowlers or the 6th and 7th. I'd be surprised if Marsh bowls. I think if they're going to go with the part-time seamer, it'll be Hardie getting the overs.
Yeah, and they have shown in certainly last season, the season a little bit the season before, they love to give Connolly just an over or 2. He's to coincide with Agar. Agar hasn't bowled his full allotment every game, but you have to surely see him in the lineup there at 7 or 8. So yeah, it really comes down if they play Hobson or doesn't it, Myth?
Yeah, I think he's the key guy. If Hobson doesn't play, these guys Hardie and Connolly just become less appealing. If he's not there, if he is there, then their stocks really go up. But I can't see Marsh bowling. I don't think he bowled a single over in the IPL. I'm not sure if he's been bowling at all in shorter one days. If we get news he's going to bowl, then he becomes even more interesting.
We may as well stay just with Perth here. We've got Cooper Connolly down here. He is the what was Hardie? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's 8th highest owned, 33%. Cooper Connolly, 188k dual bat bowl. Myth, I cannot get around Cooper Connolly at all, given what we're just saying about his bowling here. He's obviously a talent. He scored 88 for Australia A in the game against England Lions the other day. He's going to be super relevant at some point this season, but to start with him just feels like an incredible waste of money to me.
Yeah, agreed. Everything we just spoke about with Hardie applies to Connolly, except Connolly's 113k more expensive. Yeah, absolutely not. And I expect that ownership amongst serious players might be more like 5 to 10%.
Timmy David, 4th highest owned, 40.5%. He's bat only, 124k. Me and Myth, we spoke a lot about last week about Tim David batting up at 4 and what that would do for us, and we think that he's probably a must-own at 4. Tubes, I know you're a bit of a fan of the Oz T20 team and seen a bit of David, bit of a fan. Just what are your sort of vibes around Tim David as a Supercoach prospect?
What, like, wasn't he the best player like a couple of years ago? Like, does he not roll the arm over anymore with his offies as well? Like, I can see he's not there as a jewel. Like, is there not that possibility of him doing that? He's just
maybe late season, probably not to start because they've signed Rayan Ahmed, the English leggy, and they've also got who's the other spinner? Is it
Rashad Hussain?
Yeah, from the Bangers.
It feels free though. They play 2 double games in the first 3 rounds. Like, why wouldn't you take a risk on someone that can come in, bat 4, score 100 at 124K in one of those?
So that's basically what we said. If he does bat 4 and gets the overs, it's just we have seen in the past them use him at a 5 or 6, where he's coming in a bit later.
Doesn't that depend on how well the openers get away? Like, it's just, I know you love game theory, Matt. Isn't it just a bit of game theory there? Like, if the openers, surely the chances are the openers are going to fail in one of those 4 or 1 or 2 of those 4 games across the double round weeks. And so you're going to be, you get him in early and you hold him until at least the end of round 3 and see how you go. I think it's the flip of that is Hardie. Like I know he's only 75K, but I think I'll antipod Hardie party off the back of what we've been talking about, just because they've only got 1 game the first 3 rounds. You can just sort of see what that lineup looks like.
Yeah, I mean I think the Perth lineup is relatively steady until you get down to number 7. On your Tim David point, like he's just because he's so good. He's one of the best 2020 players in the world. He's obviously got a huge IPL contract. It just really depends on the role. Like, it's basically what over do you want Tim David to come in? And we saw for Australia in these T20 games recently, they're like, we're happy to get him at over 5 or 6. And so if that translates to Hobart, where they're going to say, okay, we're happy for him anytime from 6 overs onwards, then he's definitely a must-have batsman. I think they'll be very fluid with where they bat in the order. He's not going to get overs this year with Ahmed, Hussain, and also Chowdhury if he's in the team as well. Although Chowdhury's place might be a little bit up in the air, with Ahmed looking like he's going to make it back. But yeah, I think it's just a bit of a wait and see on Tim David and the lineup. He's in my team currently, but he's going to be certainly very popular to start with, and he can hurt you. Glenn Maxwell is the next man on the list, number 5 in the top owned players. Now, Myth, we spoke a lot last week. I've not owned. We had the GOAT, Andrew Langley, on X tweet us saying that Maxwell is not an own from round 1, given that a lot of others can match his score over a double game week, and I certainly in that boat. The big argument for me, Myth, though, what I've seen this week is if you can do it and you can do it with the cash, I actually now am flirting starting with Maxwell because it means I don't have to buy him for that round 3 double. They also have the double in 5. And it just means that he might lose a bit of cash, but at least I don't have to worry about where am I finding that 170K from.
I think if he goes big as well, let's say he's worth 230K come round 3 or 220K, you're sitting very, very pretty with the points and that extra cash gen. I think Steckity going down also helps his prospects at bowling because it means Steckity's going to be replaced by a far less, I guess, known quantity. I don't think there's any guns to necessarily step into that spot. So they might be going with a young star. They might shift their team structure to run maybe Maxwell and Stoinis as at 5th and 6th bowlers. Given they've also got a couple, I think Hilton Cartwright can bowl if needed as well in a pinch. So it's a bit of appeal there to start with him. It's just whether or not you can stretch the funds because he is expensive, but you're going to have to pay up for him at some point. I'm leaning towards no at the moment just because he doesn't have that double to round 3.
How do you feel like they'll cover Steckity? Because they've lost Paris as well. They're really a little bit thin there. They've obviously picked up Harris Ralph, but it could be interesting. Like that could really see Stoinis get more of a bowling role. And I think he'll be the one to own initially if he does have that.
Yeah, I guess there's every chance they just run. There's still Hamish McKenzie around there, so maybe they run the 2 spinners with Ralph, Curran, and Siddle, with Stoinis being the extra pace guy, extra seam. So if that happens, Maxwell becomes even less appealing because he's probably not bowling so much if they run 2 spinners.
Yeah, he's coming off that broken wrist as well, and listeners can let me know which wrist he actually broke. But I definitely know he's coming back. He's coming back from broken wrist. Tubes, you're a big Maxi guy, I know.
What's the concept here, though? Like in terms of, you know how in NRL you sort of start the year and you're looking at guns and cheapies, and you might be able to fit a couple of, like, obviously Maxwell's a gun at 200K. And we were just talking about David at 123K. Like, can you afford him if you get these mid-range guys? Or how many big guns can you get? Like,
it's just much more about the fixture.
Okay.
Like, it's just much more about, like, how you get these double game week guys in, prioritising obviously the Hurricanes and Sixers in round 1, and then the Thunder and Heat round 2. And then in round 3, it's Hurricanes and Stars. So, Myth, I don't know about you, but I'm looking at 1 star to start with is probably going to be my plan.
Yeah, that's where I'm sitting at the moment as well. We should have a lot of doubles in round 1 and 3 with those. A lot of Canes in the starting team.
Yeah, so I don't think you can really go without Maxwell for round 3. So that's where my head's at is, do I have a plan to get Maxwell in, or do I just start with him and make some sacrifices elsewhere?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
You go, Myth.
Yeah, that's a toss-up, right? It's, do you sacrifice now or do you sacrifice later? Who knows what you're going to sacrifice later. If you can put a good double team together now and still have Maxwell and you haven't made too many compromises, like if it means not carrying a Nathan Ellis or a Mitch Owen, you can't do it. But if it means maybe taking, I don't know, maybe a Nathan McAndrew over a Reece Topley type of thing for your Thunder cover, then maybe you get away with it. It's really, it's going to cost you at some point. It's just whether it's straight away or round 3.
Yeah. Tubes, how is this sort of landing with you on an overall team build perspective?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel it's I've now got Maxwell sitting in my team, but I feel like I'm just adding everyone that we talk about at the moment. But I'm trying to work out, because at the moment I've got all these Hobart, Thunder. Probably don't have enough sixes in my team, so I got to sort of work through that. I mean, but the way you answered my question just then, you're sort of saying matchups is the most important.
Fixture.
Not,
yeah.
So, yeah, fixture with the double game weeks. Like, so isn't I know, like, it's the same. It feels like, do you just plan for the first 3 rounds and then see how you go from there? Like, is that sort of the
I think that's a viable strategy. The only thing that I'd throw in from a initial team build view there is, figure out who you want for the first 3 rounds, including trades. So like stars gets you to round 3, and then you want to bring in 3 stars in round 3 for 4 doublers or maybe a boost. Myth actually put me on last week to these Perth guys in round 4. You can, because they play the first game in round 1, you can sit them on your bench in round 1, and if they go off with the emergency on them, you can loop them.
Yeah, okay.
And then you just have them hanging around for round 4 for that round 4 double. So guys like Finn Allen or Hardie or Mahli Beardman, who are not worth a lot. And then that also helps if you need to bring in enough. So which is your man, Will Salesman.
So like, obviously you want your players to go well so they're making cash, but you're not really actually even looking to bring in like cheapies that are sitting on your bench to build cash gen or anything like that. Like, even your bench players has to be tactical picks based on their matchups for the first few weeks.
I'll let you answer that one, Myth.
Yeah, I'm pretty much discounting all renegades, discounting all strikers, even if there might be viable cheapies, because they just don't have the fixture until later on in the season. So they're pretty much ignores whether they be a good cheapie or a good premium, just because they don't have that double. And it's just a lot easier to score points in 5 games instead of 3.
That's an excellent segue onto the next highest owned player, who's Matt Short, bat bowl 214k, and he has been a super stud the last 3 years of BBL. He's going to open the bowling. He's probably going to get 2 to 3 overs he's going to open the batting. He's going to get probably 2 to 3 overs every game. We know that the strikers like to open the bowling with him. He's probably, I'd say he definitely is the best single game week player in the game. The problem with is that they just don't have any doubles, and that's just not until round 8. So it's just very, very hard to justify that price tag with your starting team.
I think particularly with 2 teams on the double all of the first 3 rounds, like we're barely going to have a player in your starting 12 that has just 1 match in the first 3 weeks. So you're putting up a double game week against him in most cases. So he'll be a target round 4. But until then, I think we can just ignore Matt Short no matter what he does.
Yeah. Yep. Benny McDermott, 33% owned. We can go down. He's way lower owned. He's Matt Wade, 95k, 21% owned. I just wanted to put those blokes
Can
in
I
together.
just ask, Matt, sorry to cut in, I know you would, but does that, what you just said about Matt Short, Jamie Overton's currently in my team. Is he just a no-go that? Same thing, Adelaide Strikers.
In my opinion, he's a no-go, but I mean, he's obviously an excellent player. How much is he? 180 or something?
Okay.
Yeah.
And so no double games. Like you're going Matt Short over Jamie Overton. So if you're not going,
can we get that image up, please, Gramsy? Yeah, I'm going nowhere near Overton. No double for Adelaide until round 7, and importantly as well, no bye. So, not. I'm with Myth. I'm going nowhere near Adelaide.
Yeah,
it's one of those things that if you look at your team round 3, you're going to need a forward Owen and Maxwell. So being able to have your team with Owen, Maxwell, and a Matt Short or Jamie Overton type, or Cooper Connolly falls into this bracket as well, having 3 of those 190k plus guys looks like it's just going to destroy your team balance.
I made it easy.
Yeah.
Owen's in for Overton.
Yeah, like Owen's a bit of a struggle because it's just, I mean, Owen's strike rate just gets him home. And he's obviously we've spoken a lot in the preseason about these guys who are just a level above. I think that Jamie Overton actually falls into that camp as well. Like they are just a little bit too good for Big Bash. Matt Short, Jamie Overton, Mitch Owen, Glenn Maxwell. But Owen's kind of still, he's done it for 1 season. So we obviously want to see it again. He won Player of the Year in the Major League Cricket as well. I don't want to ruin my season in round 1 by not having Mitch Owen. So he's definitely going to be in my team. But yeah, I'm very, very happy to go without Jeff Overton. And it seems like he's not in this list either. So, yeah. We're just about to talk about McDermott and Wade. Myth. I am a bit flummoxed as to who's going to get the gloves here. Like, Wade's going to have the gloves, isn't he?
I'm not too sure if we've got confirmation either way. We might be waiting for that information later on in the week. I would have just assumed McDermott will take it just due to Wade's back injuries.
And man Wade.
Just save him the effort of being behind the wickets and give it to McDermott, I say. But, yeah, we don't know for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a big watch because, I mean, you also, by the same token, you don't want old man Wade in the field running around after balls. So, it could be the safest place for him behind the stumps. Been a great player, Matty Wade. But yeah, I've got McDermott in my team at the moment. Myth, I like, even if he doesn't have the gloves, 80k feels like can't go too wrong there.
The one thing I'm noticing with him the most in building my team is he's very convenient to have in there. Just going, this is a double week game player, week 1 and 3. He's very cheap, and that's almost what's just getting him into my side, just that he's such value and that it just allows me to spend elsewhere.
Yep. And he's got the ceiling tubes, which I know you love.
Oh, he does.
Yeah. I mean, I think is he the, like, you have him?
He's the on-field keeper for round 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're sort of looking at if you go with the Joe Clark, and Josh Philippi, and then you can sort of move them. You'll have Philippi obviously on field for game week 1, but then
You can move around.
Yeah, exactly. You can move them around, and if Clark's got that bye. The key with the bye for the wicketkeeper is just having that whoever plays first, you can just have him on the bench, and then you can either slot whoever's got the bye on field if you want their score, or you can put your second wicketkeeper on field in the keeper slot. So it's very good chance to net you a lot of points long term.
How good that you guys talking about that reminded me of. I went, oh, I wonder what is Tim Payne finished up, and then I just looked him up, and just because thought, oh, another Hobart keeper. He's coach of the Adelaide Strikers.
Yeah,
Jesus, what happened to Dizzy Gillespie? Where's he gone? He's coaching. He's coaching somewhere else.
He went to Pakistan for a while, got sacked.
Yeah.
He's a bit of ABC radio, I think.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Anyway, there we go. Former captain. That was a quick demise. But then back to coaching the Adelaide Strikers. Tasmanian legend Tim Payne.
No, he's actually done pretty well. He's also on SEN Tas. Just a bit of breakfast radio. Kind of did the it was a pretty mild crime, to be fair. It cost him the Australian captaincy, but he's straight back into it. So good on him. Nathan Ellis, Myth, 154K, 32.5. I don't want to spend much time here. He's just got the great bowling role and feel like he should be very highly owned come week 1.
He feels as safe as any of the Hobart guys that you're going to get a pretty good average through 5 rounds. It might be a 20 here, but then he might balance it out with an 80. He just feels safe.
I suppose the question is that if you're trying to make concessions, is he one guy who maybe you could go with a Meredith over for a little bit of extra to save that little bit of cash, or a Chris Jordan, who I know that you're keen on?
Yep. I don't think there's an issue if you decide I'm going to go for Meredith and Jordan and hope that they can outscore him over a 5-week sample. Don't think there's much of an issue there at all.
Yep. I tried that a couple of years ago. I'm just happy with Ellis in my team at the moment, but yeah, I'll have a look. I can't imagine you got much of a view on Ellis.
Oh, big view. I love Ellis.
Really?
Yeah. He's a death man, like death bowler. So he'll bowl 10 death overs in the first 3 rounds. Like, how can you not have him in your team? Like, it's just could be wickets
plus
galore.
Power surge.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know Meredith's good and he could take a few wickets, and I haven't compared their price, but I just feel like that's what you're looking for, right? You want these death bowlers because they're the ones that certainly can take a lot more wickets and have bigger games.
Meredith 130K, so 23K cheaper, so not a huge saving.
Meredith killed you 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago, Matt?
3 years ago, yeah.
3 years ago. Meredith killed you, so I don't think you can go back to the well.
That was the exact thing. I went Meredith over Ellis.
Yeah.
Just on ownership, yeah.
Yeah, and you're flying. I think you're first at the time.
Yep. Mitch Marsh, 118K. We spoke about Mitch a bit earlier with Tubes there. Myth, I'm a bit on the fence. Like, that's a juicy price for the Australian T20 captain, opening batting. We don't think he's going to bowl. I don't think he's going to field in the hot spots, but he's got the ceiling to really do a bit of damage.
Yep. On one hand, he's a bat only guy, basically, or most likely, who doesn't have a double in the first 3 weeks. And he's value, but he's not cheap like a Hardie or a Beardman or a Kelly or a Finn Allen type from his Scorchers. His counterparts there. So it's hard to make the cash stretch, but you couldn't knock anyone that decided they're going to start with the big bison. He could turn up at any point in time.
I think it's all about the ownership here. Are you prepared to? We've got Tubes. We know that Supercoach is a game of calculated risk. At 32% ownership, are you prepared to take that on? That feels like the big question. It feels like not the worst risk for Mitchy boy.
Yeah, all the casual BBL fans will be going Mitch Marsh. people like myself will be a bit more strategic about our picking, and I'll be I'll be antipoding it because I think like not knowing as in depth as what Mitch just said, Myth just said about Mitch. Mitch Myth. I think he's just worth antipoding because of his ownership and the fact that you know, I don't think he's an absolute lock if he's not bowling, like just because he's opening the batting and he doesn't have a double game the first 3 rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, Myth Marsh is going to catch on, I think, as a bit of a nickname. Let's get through a few here, boys, because I wanted to get all the way down here to Davey Warner. I suppose we're not too far away, but we're running out of time. So Nisa, quickly, Myth. I think that this 5 in the second test here, surely that just keeps him in the squad, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think even if he's somehow released for that first game, I would want to wait to make sure he's there for the first game of the double.
Yeah, I'm penning Nisa Tubes, so don't worry about
So what
him.
Brisbane guys do we get? Because they have a double round 2.
We'll get to them.
So now that we're penning Nisa, what Brisbane guy do you get? Munro?
There's a couple just a little down further, Tubes, so we'll get to. We'll talk about Brisbane when we get to the next one. Dan Sams, 29%, 117 bat bowl. He's currently in my squad, Myth. There's been no real news here about Thunder in terms of what they're doing. Look, fine pick. But like, is it exactly what we said last week? Just really depends on this batting order and the bowling roles.
Yep, you'll want him round 2 for sure. It's just whether or not you start with him. And I think there's an argument to start him. There's an argument to start Shadab. There's an argument to start Green. It's just whoever your preference is, and that batting lineup might give us some hints either way. I think if Sam's is somehow at 6, you pick him.
It's just the reduced risk, and because I actually don't think you're going to play your Thunder player round 1 unless you want to put the E on them if you don't have Perth. I think that's really you're not going to really want that. I'd probably prefer those heat bowlers as my single game week players to the Thunder guys, potentially, or it might be close.
I think it's tight. I think it's really tight whether you start a heat bowler or if you start one of these Thunder all-rounders, just because the heat bowlers, especially with no Nessa, are pretty close to specialist bowlers, even though Xavier can hold a willow, whereas the Thunder guys do offer that the game falling their way and then posting a 130, 140. Sam's has got that in. We've seen it multiple times. Chris Green's probably got that in now these days, and I think Shadab, if he's batting 6, has that too. So it's a tough call.
Do you have any questions there, Tubes, about the sort of like why you might put the emergency on a Thunder or a Heat?
Yeah, my question would be, I don't understand it, but like, why would you do that?
So you're going to have probably 10. I'm going to say the average will be 9 or 10 players on field from Hurricanes and Sixers.
Yeah.
So you've got to have 12 on field. So then you need single game week players to fill in the rest of your team. But you also have to have your emergencies on the bench. So you want to have the E on guys who play early in the round. So Perth play first game. So if you are going to carry Perth, they're the perfect guys because you can put the E on. But if they fail, then you're going to have guys on field. So do you want to Shaheen Sharafridi or a Bartlett, or to what Myth spoke about there with the batting order for Thunder? Do you want a Dan Sams or a Shadab Khan or who was the other one you mentioned?
Chris Green.
Chris Green to be a single game week player on field.
Yeah. Getcha. But Sam's, like, he's only 116K. I know you're saying it matters about where he bats, but he's still in for 4 overs, isn't he?
Most likely. I don't think it's just whether or not you start him or trade into him round 2. I think that's as simple as the decision is. Or then if you have him on field or if he's just on the bench ready to go. I think that's the 3 options with Sams. It'd be silly to fade him on the double game week with his track record of he posts a couple 130, 140s each season, it seems, where he picks up a 4 in the final over when they're trying to hit him to all sorts.
There's a little bit of doubt just around the Thunder batting order, which was something we got into a fair bit last week. Like, Sam's could bat anywhere from 5 to 8. So we just that's the argument to say, okay, I'll just pick him up in round 2 when I know where he's batting. He's cheap. It's not going to be too bad. So yeah, that's the argument to maybe not start with him. The Sixers boys, Edwards and Dwarshus, we spoke a ton about. Myth, any reason why you wouldn't start with either of those guys since we spoke last week?
Those two were in my side day dot, and they have not left, and they will not leave.
Yep, I'm the exact same boat. I think that both of them should be in the top 5 highest owned come Sunday night / Monday morning. Tubes, Edwards is going to bat 3, probably potentially 6, and looking at 4 overs as well. We're getting the baller projections out this week, and I know that he's going to feature very highly in those projections. Dwarshus batted 7 a fair few times last year, and especially with Abbott out now, we might see him slot into that pinch hit role at any point. So he's also the lock, Tubes, of the 4 overs for the Sixers. So very keen to see what Dwarshus can do this year. Marcus Stoinis, we spoke a little bit about earlier. I think that's myth. I think that's going to come a little bit down to lineup, because if I think that Stoinis is going to get a bowl, or we hear a few whispers, I actually don't mind starting with Stoinis.
I think the challenge is they play on Thursday, so the final game of the round, and we're going to lock in a lot of our players Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I don't think we'll get the mail, but I think you'll have to be ready, though, to potentially move on him early come round 2, because if he's bowling overs and he's playing on Adelaide Oval against the strikers in round 2, you may want to go early on him. But I think you got to wait and see.
Yeah, that's interesting. Tommy Curran, obviously available at about 40 to 50K cheaper as well. He had a down year last year, but he's obviously going to have a great role batting number 7 and bowling death for the Stars this year. Tubes, the last 2 men here who I wanted to get into, we've obviously got Fraser McGurk, but he's not an option as far as we're concerned to start the season. Will Sutherland, 0 Renegades policy for myself and Myth, so he's a no, especially at 168K. Xavier Bartlett, 23.5% owned, 128K. I am a massive fan of starting with Bartlett. We saw it. He's just scored 83 for Australia A. You asked the question, Tubes, who are we starting with from Heat if we're not starting with Nisa? We've got Bartlett and Shaheen Shah Afridi, who is slightly more expensive, 153K, who comes in nowhere near on this list. Crazy stuff. Got to go down below Spencer Johnson somehow to find Shaheen Shah Afridi. But yeah, Xavier Bartlett is the man. He's going to bat probably 7 or 8, probably 8, Myth.
I think if Nisa's not there, it could be, probably 8 with Wildermuth there. So anywhere between 7 and 9. Can hold the stick, but he's just going to have the great overs. Averaged, 68, I think, 2 years ago. 73 he's got in the locker as well. So he's really is a fallen gun.
He's super streaky as well. Like, he's a guy who can get you 3 for 8 off 4 overs and a 25 off 8 balls. So he's well and truly locked into my team. Jack Wildermuth, we spoke about as well last week. That's a huge wait and see on the roll. 58K place filler. And Shaheen Shah Afridi, who's 153K and opening bowler for Pakistan. We learned that those Pakistani boys are off around just after Christmas to go and play in a home series against Sri Lanka. So, Tubes, that's how we're approaching the Heat now. It looks like Bartlett, Afridi, and Wildermuth. I think Wildermuth could be the big winner there.
If there's no Nessa, then Wildermuth has to be the big winner, I think. And a few of us might be trading him in come round 2. And that might be the cash you free up to get a Maxwell in round 3.
Tubes, how are you going with all that information with your initial team build here live on air?
Yeah, I'm finding it hard to. I think I've got the bulk of it. I think I still can't get my head around who I'm trying to pick as these like emergencies. So you want to have cheapies, but you also want to have potentially ones that you can use as a sub in auto emergency. They play early in the round, so you're looking for Scorchers.
I think Scorchers are the only ones who you're looking for as those options. The otherwise, they've got to be a role that you're playing for round 1 or 2 or
Yeah,
Stars
but then they
in there.
don't have that many cheap bowlers or batters like really Scorchers, that comes back to why Hardie's probably
they
so
do.
crap.
They got heaps of cheap guys. They got Hardie. They got Finn Allen, wicketkeeper wicketkeeper bat. They got Mahli Beardman, bowl only. He's going to play every game.
And Matt
All right.
Kelly.
And Matt Kelly and Mitch Marsh.
So is Matt Kelly a bowler that's going to bowl every game?
I think Mahli Beardman Myth is the pick of the bowlers there.
I think so. Get the young up and comer. I think Ashton Turner had some nice words to say about him, thinking he's going to have a breakout season here. He's probably the guy for me, but there is still some doubt around those Scorchers bowlers and who's going to be preferred. But I like Beardman quite a lot.
Sweet.
Yeah. So
Getting close. I'm getting close.
Give us a quick sort of numbers of Hurricane Sixers, Heat, Thunder, and Stars that you got built up so
I've
far.
currently got 3 Sixers, 4 Hurricane,
Okay.
1 Stars, 2 Thunder, 3 Thunder. 3 Thunder.
Okay.
Who else you say?
Heat.
2 Heat, but one of them's
Okay.
enough.
Myth, what do you reckon? I reckon he's a little bit short on Canes and Sixes there at 7 total.
Yeah, I would be wanting to add at least 1, if not 2 or 3, to be honest. I think a lot of people are going to load up round 1 and you might be playing a couple scores short. Not that it can't work, but yeah, more doubles for me.
So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, 7 doubles. So you think I need at least 8 or 9?
Yeah, I think 9 is the minimum there.
It's all right. Well, I'm currently sitting with an open spot with 186k in the kitty.
Ooh.
So that'll get me up to 8.
Perfect. Tubes, I'm gonna request that we get that team off you to post on socials post this episode for a bit of content during the week for your first draft of your BBL 25-26 team. It has been an absolute pleasure to welcome you onto the Cricket Pod. I know this is because you were quite a decent little clubby back in the day, playing, opening the batting and.
Geez, that's such a backhanded compliment. A decent little clubby. Give you a decent little clubby.
I'm trying to thank you for coming on the pod.
Yeah, well, thank you. You're a decent little podcaster once upon a time too. But appreciate the invite. It certainly helped me. It's probably the way you've got me to actually listen to get involved in BBL this year coming on the pod. So I'm now fired up for it and looking forward to absorbing some more content moving forward.
Good. We're going to see you back on the pod after game week 1 with Myth and Jono. So it's going to be good fun.
I might jump on the Discord straight after this. Start getting the people.
I think that's actually where you should drop your team for a bit of an exclusive. That would be good fun. Myth, once again, mate, been a pleasure to have you and dropping some good truth bombs on us, especially in this ownership episode. So I wish you luck in the next few days before we have our roundup podcast before game week 1.
Yeah, I'm excited for the news that makes me completely change my team and rethink all of my strategies.
Yeah, it's no doubt plenty of twists and turns to come. And I'm looking forward to a bit of Mitch Owen. Just something's going to happen to Mitch Owen, so it's going to throw everyone out. But thank you very much, Myth. Thank you, Tubes. And Tubes, I'll let you see us out for tonight, and we'll catch everyone later in the week.
You beauty.